everybody. Welcome to the weekly devotional. So excited that you're joining us, and just wanted to sing the song of worship before we go into the Word and go into our time of devotion. So let's sing this together. Break of day, hope we rise, we seek your face, lift our eyes, tune our hearts to your praise. Where you are, there you'll be, with fire in our eyes, our lives alive, your love unveiling, breaking out, the streets will glow, forever bright, your glory's breaking through the night. You will never fade away, your love is here to stay, by my side in my life, shining through me every day. You will never fade away, your love is here to stay, by my side in my life, shining through me every day. Oh, oh, and wake within me, you're in my heart forever. You wake within me, you're in my heart forever. And wake within me, you're in my heart forever. You wake within me, you're in my heart forever. You will never fade away, your love is here to stay, by my side in my life, shining through me every day. You will never fade away, your love is here to stay, by my side in my life, shining through me every day. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, and oh, sing forever. Forever, forever, forever in your love. Forever, forever, forever. We know that, yeah. Forever, forever, forever in your love. Forever, forever, forever. We know that you will never fade away, your love is here to stay, by my side in my life, shining through me every day. You will never fade away, your love is here to stay, by my side in my life, shining through me every day. Oh, yeah, you wake within me, you wake within me, wake within me. You're in my heart forever. You wake within me. You're in my heart forever.
Hi, church. I'm James Tan. I'm a grad student in our church, and I'm part of Impact, our graduate student ministry. Woo! I just wanted to encourage us for our daily devotion, our weekly devotion, through a passage that God has put on my heart a lot during this quarantine period. That's been really encouraging. So the passage is Deuteronomy 6:4-5. Just to give like a broad context behind this passage and Deuteronomy in general, it is an account of Moses before he passed. Like he has brought the Israelites from Egypt out of slavery through the power of God, and he has taken them through the desert to the promised land. And they finally get there, and according to what happened previously, like Moses is not allowed to come in. And so this is his final exhortation to the Jewish people, to the Israelites. And he's working really hard to try to convince them, hey, if you live according to the law that God has given you, then you will do well in this promised land that he's giving you. You will be fruitful, you will, do well, your families do well, Your relationships with each other will be blessed if you follow the law. Like everything will be great. But if you don't, then oh man, it's going to be bad. You're going to get cursed. You're going to be cast out of this land. Foreign countries will come in and take over. So please, like, choose life. Like, live according to God's laws and love the Lord with everything. And he just wants to do his best to exhort the Israelites to continue, not just this generation who will enter the promised land, but generations after. And so I will read Deuteronomy 6:4-5. It's the beginning of like a lot of what Moses is about to say to the Israelites. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. So I think a lot of us, we actually recognize this passage from the Gospels. So in Mark, I think particularly, and we know it as Jesus calls it like one of the greatest commandments. So like a teacher of the law comes up to Jesus and it's like, Jesus, like what is the greatest commandment? And Jesus recites this verse along with another one in Leviticus saying, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And for Christians, this is like some of our bread and butter. Like these are like, for us, it's like the entire law can be like summed up in these two commands. And I think that's kind of how I just only knew it. But when I was reading through Deuteronomy, I actually found the start of that verse. You shall love the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And I was learning more about it. I was curious more about Deuteronomy, and I came upon a Bible Project video. I love Bible Project. You should check it out. I'll put a link down or something for you guys to look at too. But I learned a lot about why this verse is so important to Jewish culture. That it's actually part of the normal rounds of recitation, meditation, and prayer, of which is called the Shema. And this verse is like the centerpiece of that. And so the Jewish people, they would listen, they would recite this and pray over it every morning and every night after they wake up and then before they go to sleep. And as I was watching this Bible Project video and kind of like studying it on my own, I realized how much depth there is just in these two verses and what it meant for the Jewish people to really desire and put their focus back on God and to commit themselves to God every day. So I'm going to break this verse up into three parts. So the hear, O Israel part is called to obey. The second part, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. That's a very robust monotheistic statement. And then the last part is the part about you shall love the Lord, blah, 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 is not blah, 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 is a call for full devotion and worship. So the first phrase of the passage, hear, O Israel, that word here is our English translation. That's the translation of the word Shema, which is where why we call it the Shema is from this one word here. And I think our translation doesn't do that word justice. So when we think of the word listen, like for example, for me, like one thing that I do is I think about like my conversations with my family, my mom and my dad, and sometimes we'll get into like little arguments and they'll be like, James, like, why don't you listen to what we're telling you to do? Like, if you were listening to us, you would just do what we told you to do and not do what you want to do. And then I would tell my parents, actually, no, like, I do listen to what you say. Like, I care about you guys a lot, and I care about what you guys say. So I definitely take in consider. I listen, so your words enter my ear, and it definitely gets processed through, and I just ultimately decide not to do it. Like, it's just not the best thing in my mind. And then they get, anyways. But this is actually not the way that we're supposed to interpret the word listen in this context. This word listen actually implies more of obey. So not only hear and obey, or not only just hear, but also hear and obey. Those are two inseparable concepts that are involved in this word. So there's such a strong call to obey in this word. And that's why Moses is using this word Shema, because he wants to really get across to the Israelites, please don't just listen to me, don't just listen to the Lord, but obey the Lord, and he will help you to do well. So the second part is this robust monotheism, and so you can see that in that middle section, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And I think for us, we kind of take this and we're just like, oh yeah, the Lord is one. Like we believe the Trinity, like 3 in 1 kind of stuff. And I think for us, we don't quite like take that so I don't know, like I'm losing words. We take that kind of like face value, but For the Jewish people, especially at that time, during the time of Deuteronomy, so they're coming in from Egypt into a land, this promised land, where it's occupied by a lot of people groups that don't believe in just one God. They believe in a ton of different gods for different things, and they worship all these different gods. And what God is saying to them, hey, all these little G gods, they're not valid. They don't actually exist. I'm the only God that actually exists. So give your devotion to me. Don't follow these other gods. In fact, if you follow these other gods, that's what will cause you to disobey and help you to fall into curses and disobedience. So that's that part. And the end part is, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might is that call to full devotion and worship. I think when we think about it in terms of, for like Christians nowadays, I think we kind of read those words, so heart, soul, and might, and we have our own like perceptions of what that means. I think in general, even if you didn't know like the Hebrew for these words, ultimately you would think like, oh, okay, like I should give like my full feelings, like my full like, I don't know how to define soul, but like my full I don't know, desires, or like I don't know, and then like might, it's like I just want to like go hard for God, right? And I think that's true. I think we should, but I think there's actually more if you look at the Hebrew words behind these three words. So the first word is heart, and the first word for that is actually lev. So heart is actually lev. That's the Hebrew word. And for us in Western culture, we have a dichotomy between your heart and your mind. So the mind is where like your rational thought happens, and your heart is where like your feelings happen. For the Jewish people at the time, they didn't really understand the brain to be that case. So actually the heart was where it was a centerpiece of your thoughts, your feelings, your decision making, your rationale, but also like that very visceral like feeling and emotion. And so it's not just like your feeling, but it's like it's a combination, like a wholeness of your thoughts, your feelings, and your rational thought. And nefesh is the second word, so that's for soul. For soul, we typically think of like the part of you that like exists after you die, like the part of your not your physical self, but like your soul, right? Like, oh, like your soul goes to heaven after you die. That's what we think. But the word nefesh is actually the word for throat. And I was like reading, so when I was studying this, I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Like, why is it throat? And the way that the Jewish people saw that word metaphorically was that this throat is the gateway to your person. Like everything that I eat, like it enters my person, my being, my physical body. And they use this word a lot to basically mean like to like embody that. So like that titular verse that we know of like, as the deer panteth for the water, like as my soul longs after you, like that soul is actually nefesh, which is throat. So it embodies more than just like this this ephemeral like part of you that exists that's not physical, but it's like the gateway to your person. So nefesh symbolizes your entire body and your being. So the last word for strength or might, depending on your translation, miod. This is the most difficult one to translate probably. It's a word that's really hard to translate, but it roughly means like very or like much of. It's actually like more closely used as like an adverb to be like, oh, like very, like yod good or something like that, like very good. And what this word, how this enhances our understanding is that it's used to mean like to the greatest extent, like to the greatest capability like of possible. And I think that's why it's translated into might or strength. It's like you want to go like hard, like at it. And I think when you take these words together with those interpretations, you get much more than just like little parts of a whole, but each word communicates a very like holistic manner, right, of giving your fullness to God. And I think for me this was really cool because in the midst of having to challenge myself to listen and obey, to give my devotion only to the one true God, but also that like every opportunity, every situation, every instance I should give to God in my devotion, working my best for the sake of Him. And this was really good for me during quarantine period. I think for a lot of us, like when we lived in quarantine, we woke up every morning, we did our normal routine of stay at home, and we're just at home most of the time. So it just really gets really monotonous, and we're just like, oh, okay, like every day goes by, and summer went by really fast because of it. But I think thankfully for me, like going through these verses and even just praying the Shema over myself multiple times throughout some days, having to like refocus, like why am I doing what I'm doing? Like, am I just doing it because it's a routine, or like am I giving my fullness, my much of, like my full capability, like my very to God? And I think that was good. That like I was, like, for example, for work, like I was really distracted sometimes, and I would have to like recenter myself and be like, okay, no, like I should be giving my full capability to the Lord. Or even times where like the temptation would come, and I'd be like, okay, like I don't want to work, or like I just want to sleep, or like, oh, I just want to like, yeah, like fall into sin. But I think that this was also another reminder. The Shema was a reminder. Hey, no, don't like. Please obey, like listen and obey to the Lord. Don't just like listen to the Lord during your devotion, but like fully give your life and your day to the Lord. So I think that's the call that I want to give to us. I want to ask us to first off just like meditate on the Shema, the verses that I've just read for us. So just like repeat to yourself. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Just repeat it multiple times and just focus on different words as you're meditating through it. And then after that, think about like, okay, what does that actually mean for you? How are you going to give the things you have today, your responsibilities, your time, your routines, even your rest, like even like the food you eat, the food you cook, like the opportunities you have, like how are you going to give those things as love and devotion towards God? And then finally, let's just pray for the Lord to help us to devote these things to the Lord. I think to Him. I think it's just there's just so many distractions throughout the day, distractions in my heart, distractions outside, distractions on the internet. There's just so much things to distract us, and I just ask the Lord to help us to devote our day to the Lord. And then finally, spend some time praying for our church and our leaders, even as they devote the next ministry season, everything in the ministry, everything who they are, into devotion for the Lord. And then finally, let's pray for the personal prayer request shared by the church members. It will be down in the link, video description link. And I think that should be everything. So if you guys are interested, I will ask them to put the Bible Project link down there as well if you're interested in. I didn't do like a perfect job at explaining the things there, but it's just really fun to study. So, yeah, if you guys are interested, we'll put it down there too. Yeah, hope today's a loving and devoted day toward the Lord.